Hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Talking with Coach Troy, where I talk to really interesting people about things they're doing in their lives relative to business, sport, whatever it might be. And today, my special guest is Ted Kennedy. Ted, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It's been a while since we spoke.
Yep.
Yeah.
A couple years.
Yeah. From our days at Lifetime.
Yes. Yeah. I know we had a lot of fun things together at Lifetime. I remember bringing some groups out for your Tucson camps.
Yeah.
I had a great time with those, and plus you helped me with some of my CEO challenge people and coaching, and yeah, we did a lot of cool things together.
Yeah, we sure did. So, I knew of you many years ago through the Ironman stuff you're doing. And one thing that always impressed me about you, and I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but you can really be credited with kind of launching the whole idea of these VIP CEO/executive challenge programs and that are so popular today. Can you tell me a little bit about that progression and how it started for you?
So I'll have to start at the beginning, which is always a good place to start. I was 20 years in consumer packaged goods for Quaker Oats and Best Foods in Canada. And Graham Fraser approached me with the ridiculous idea of joining a startup, Ironman North America, in 1999 when he had one race, Ironman Canada. And he had just purchased the rights to U.S. Ironman races. So I took a flyer, and somehow my wife went along with the idea that I would join this company with no salary, 100% commission, no car, no bonus, no stock. And just, if I could sell something, then we'd made money. If I couldn't, then we'd starve. So I said, we'll give it a year. And ended up doing very well, sponsorship-wise, brought in Janus and Kellogg's and HSBC and a bunch of other sponsors. And as an idea to get new sponsors, I was going through the database for Ironman Lake Placid, which was our first U.S. venture back in, that you raced that many times. Did some great races there. But starting in 99, so in 2000, I was going through the database, and I noticed that probably about 10% of the field listed their jobs as CEO or president or, senior executive or chief something of the company. Back then, people used to actually put their real job titles. Now I know they just make up stuff. But so I thought, wow, a great way to find new sponsors would be to organize these CEOs into a little competition within the competition. Mm-hmm. And being CEOs, put them up at the Whiteface Lodge and had, the best dining experiences, and had Paula Newby Fraser and Huddle and Rock Fry come in as, coaches and celebrities, and put together this program for, I think it was about 20 people in 2001 at Ironman Lake Placid, and it absolutely took off. I mean, they just loved it. They loved not only the special attention, but they loved the fact that they were racing against people like themselves. CEOs who only have maybe 10 hours a week to train if they're lucky, as opposed to, the general population, oftentimes then it was 20, 25 hours a week. So they enjoy competing against people like themselves, but they also really liked to meet other people that ran companies and had families and traveled all over the world and tried to fit in Ironman training somehow. So that's really where the concept launch was, Lake Placid 2001 with the CEO Ironman Challenge.
So then that just kind of grew for you, and you stayed involved with that for a while. And then tell us a little bit about the progression, because there was the next step for you.
So that really worked great. At Lake Placid, did that 4 years in a row. And in 2005, I left Ironman North America, and I got a license from Lou Friedland and the Ironman Corporation, WTC, as it was called then. Yep. I got a license worldwide to take the concept, the CEO Ironman Challenge concept worldwide. So I formed a company called CEO Challenges, and we went to, we went everywhere. Singapore, Korea, Austria, France, then, 2 or 3 U.S. races, Ironman Canada. We just had a blast. We took people all over the world to race these CEO Ironman challenges. And then the best of the best of the best, the top 15 or so, got to come to Kona, Hawaii to race for the title of World's Fittest CEO. And so that worked incredibly well until Ben Furtick came along and decided that we weren't going to do that anymore. And so they stole the concept and repackaged it as Executive Challenge and turfed me out, cut me out, and then I had to find something else to do. So that brings us up to 2008, I think it was. Then, so I had no more Ironman since I was banned from taking the concept around the world. So I was looking for, okay, well, what else would CEOs like to do? Marathons maybe. And I heard of this little race called the Leadville 100 mountain bike. A few of my CEOs had expressed interest in getting into that. So that caused me to go to up to Lifetime in Chanhassen, the headquarters there, and just pitched them on the idea of potentially getting some slots to Leadville. And really funny story. The fellow I'm talking to, the VP back then, he really liked the concept. And Bahram Krati happened to pass his cubicle at the time I was making the pitch. And he called Bahram in, and I didn't know Bahram at that point. Now, I mean, we look at what he's done and what he's built. And Bahram Krati comes in and says, well, oh yeah, I've heard of you. Yeah, I know a bunch of these guys that have done your races and that. And he said, but I think I'm the world's fittest CEO. I said, well, you might be, but you just can't say that. You got to prove it. He goes, go ahead, punch me in the stomach as hard as you want. And I said, well, that's how Houdini died, which I don't know if he caught that reference or not, but it's true. And I said, it's not a punching in the stomach contest. You actually have to come race one of them. Anyway, so he laughed. And on the way out of the office, he said it was Ken. He said to Ken, he goes, I like this guy, buy his company.
That's awesome.
So nothing happened for a year, and I ran into Ken and a few others at the LA Triathlon, because I brought a group of YPO people from Winnipeg, Manitoba, believe it or not, the flattest place on earth, come race the LA Triathlon and try to swim in the ocean. Anyways, I ran into Ken, and Ken goes, okay, we're interested. Let's start talking. So in 2012, I sold CEO Challenges to Lifetime Fitness, and I gave them a 5-year guarantee to run the company for Lifetime, and there we go. And that brought us up to 2017, and that's when you and I did a lot of work together. And when we both worked for Lifetime Fitness back in the good old days.
Yeah, that's right. So I was really, I got to be involved in a couple of those events you did, the CEO Challenges events, and I was just fascinated by them. They were held in these exclusive resort areas, just beautiful areas, and the events that you did were so unique. Talk a little bit about like the concept that you had.
Well, so initially it was all Ironman. That's all I did with and bring the fittest to Kona. And then once that went away, I started to come up with other events, and Leadville became really, really popular, one of our more popular events. And then I did some other like small triathlons that were hard to get into. But the concept that really exploded for us was the fittest CEO competition that we hosted at Blackberry Farm, Tennessee. And if you don't know Blackberry Farm, it's the #1 rated resort in North America. It is unbelievable, not only luxury, but just the surroundings, the mountains. It's in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. It just opened itself up to have this amazing competition. So I got a hold of the top 25, I think the best 25 CEOs I could find in the world, and invited them exclusively to come to Blackberry Farm and race in an event called the CEO Endurance World Championship. I think that was 2013. And at Blackberry Farm, it was a 6-stage race over 3 days. We did one in the morning and one in the afternoon, all made for TV. And man, we had a blast. We did like road cycling. We did the one where we have to do a 1-mile circuit, and the last person every lap gets kicked out.
Yeah.
So I mean, by the end, these guys are doing 25 miles, right? Because it's, 25 of them. And if you're tail of the dog, I think they used to call that in track cycling.
Yeah.
And so we did that. We did a hill bike climb. We did a country race. We did a Spartan race. They were just phenomenal. And we did that for a few years. That was really, really unique. That was a lot of fun. And the TV shows are a lot of fun to look back at now.
Yeah, that was an amazing event. The hay bale. I
Yeah.
remember hay bale. It's just some
Yeah,
really
the spears. The Spartan race. You had to. Yeah, you were good at that, as I recall.
cutting the wood. Remember the saw piece? Oh man, that was incredible stuff.
They had to cut through the oak tree with the double saw, and then answer those crazy little trivia questions before they even blew to the next one.
Oh, that's right. Oh my
Paddle
God.
across that. They had to paddle across that pond and bring pieces of wood back and forth, and
Yes.
yeah, it was fun.
Well,
Yeah.
and then that following, or a couple of years later, then the event went to Vermont. So talk about that event up there.
So I got Joe DeCina did my very first CEO Ironman challenge back in 2001, and typically, and Joe DeCina, for those of you that don't know, is the CEO and founder of Spartan Race. But he was a Wall Street trader and made a lot of money, did very well. But his passion was endurance events, and he would show up, on some crappy bike and drink a pickle juice the whole race. And typically, well, I'll give you an example. 2001, he showed up. He had the Vermont 100 mile the Sunday before, the Badwater 135 running race the Wednesday, Thursday, went to a wedding in Vermont, and then showed up Ironman Lake on the Sunday, all in a week. I mean, that's what Joe is. So I found him really interesting, kept in touch with him, and then he invited us up to his beautiful, beautiful property up in Vermont for the
his mountain. He owns a mountain.
Yeah, right. I mean, he only had a backyard and with weights in it, so you could run along and pick up weights and run up the mountain. So he invited us out. Remember, we did that. We put together 6 stages there, about cross country running, mountain biking. We had a burpee contest, and then culminated in the Spartan race, the World Championship Spartan race in Vermont. And you jumped into that. And I think you might have set the record for most burpees anyone's ever had to do.
I did, but I was leading the run portion. I did lead the run portion up the hill.
You did?
I did.
You did better than I thought you would.
My upper body strength wasn't very great back then, but I've worked a lot on that. So
yeah.
But that
did
was
a lot of penalty burpees.
Yeah, I love that. I love that whole experience. Yes, and I think I did over 100 burpees that day. So.
Yeah, I know, which is incredible. Because I mean, I get to 15 and I'm just maxed out. I know Joe does 1,000 every day or some crazy thing, but yeah.
But yeah, that was an incredible event. So flash forward, no longer with Lifetime.
Yep.
Now you have your own thing. So you're furthering the concept. So tell us about what you're doing now.
So I retired from Lifetime and figured, okay, well, that's, maybe I'll do something, maybe I won't. Wasn't in a big hurry to find something new. And then while a Young Presidents Organization, who I'd done a lot of events for over the past 10 years, approached me and said, hey, we want to go to the London Marathon. Can you get us slots and hotel rooms and, VIP, this and that? And I said, yeah, sure. So I put together a program just for YPO. And then another group of YPO said, we want to go to the Berlin Marathon. Another group said, we want to go to the Ledo 100 mountain bike, just YPO. So I kind of came out of retirement. And so I formed a new company, which I call Achieve Racing. I think it's on my shirt there.
Oh, there you are.
And,
nice.
And the cool part of that was Achieve. I have 2 granddaughters. Their names are Charlie and Evie. And so I was trying to figure out how could I come up with a name that combines the kids' name, the grandkids' names. And my wife said, what about Achieve? And I went, oh, jump on the computer. Achieve Racing wasn't taken yet. So that's where the name of the company came from.
That's great.
And I really do more events, but smaller events, mostly for YPO. Although this year we opened up Dirty Kansas,
okay,
which is a lifetime event to the larger group, and Leadville 100, which is now canceled, obviously.
Right. And
we were going to take people to the London Marathon, Berlin Marathon, plus La Ruta mountain bike race in Costa Rica, was a brutal 3-day race that some of the YPO guys wanted in get into for some reason. And it just happens Joe DeCina just bought it. So Joe said, hey, come on down and, host at La Ruta and do the full VIP thing. So it's anyhow, keeps coming, circling back. Everything keeps coming back. Well, it's such a small industry, the endurance business is really tiny once you get inside of it and you get to know the players. We all keep running into each other and helping each other.
Yeah, for sure. So Achieve Racing, people can find out more information about you there. Really quickly, you're also a really accomplished athlete. I know you're not probably getting ready for anything specifically right now, but what is on the horizon for you athletically as you continue to train?
I really like duathlon. I'm a really crappy swimmer, even though I've tried so hard. I mean, I wasn't horrible. I did a 109 Ironman swim, which, it's not horrible, but it's not going to win my age group. And I was like, well, why am I'm a good runner. I mean, I was a miler back in the day. I'm going, why am I up, 10 minutes to these people? So I started to get into duathlon in a big way. I went to World Championships in Spain a few years ago because they had the short course, draft legal duathlon, which is, 5K run, 20K draft legal bike, 2.5K run. And, it's over in under an hour. It was so much fun. So I've gotten into that, and I do more and more duathlon and the World Championships. Every time I age up, because I'm so old now, when you age up, it's a real big advantage. So
attrition.
Next year I'll be aging. What's that?
Advantage by attrition, right?
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah. So anyway, I'm running just like I kind of used to, and I bike a fair bit. Maybe 4 days a week and run 3 days a week, and a couple golf games in there, and play with the grandkids. And when I have a business to run, I run that, but not this year.
And all this from your office in Boulder area, is that right?
Yeah, Boulder, Colorado. Yeah, I'm in world headquarters right now is where I am. Yeah, just it's a great setup. I have an all office house, which I've had since 2004. So it's perfect.
That's great. Well, Ted, thanks for jumping on and sharing your story with me. Appreciate it. It's been great catching up with you.
I really enjoyed it. Great to see you again. I don't know if you ever get up to Colorado, but love to get out with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I will definitely look you up.
Okay.
Well, everybody, thanks for checking in and visiting us during this podcast discussion. Once again, I interview really interesting people, so be sure you check back again in the future. And until then, train safe and train smart.